Welcome back to class, everybody! It's your Wonderful Wind Mage, the Cruz Ship Captain, representing Demon Drive and the only sisters today, Chartreuse Proxy, ever at your service. Welcome back to episode 2 of the School of Omega Strikers, my in-depth guide on how to be a better Omega Strikers player no matter where you are on the pitch. But we are looking at a forward-specific video today covering the concept of man marking. Basically saying how you can be a better person in those 1v1 situations, identifying them better, and most of all, beating your mark, such as proving that you are the better sister. As to which one I'm representing today, I'll leave that to your imagination. Man marking, otherwise known as man-to-man defense, is a simple defensive strategy in concept. You are picking out one specific person on the pitch and saying 1v1 me bro, I'm going to beat you at every chance I get. Omega Strikers is a nice game, and does have to work for you. At the start of every round, you will always know who your mark is going to be, because you spawn right in front of them. Remember, each goal is a good 15 seconds of downtime before the next round starts, so you'll always have a good chance to check out your enemy awakenings, and just remember who you are going up against on that crucial first touch. I'm going to quantify this in simple numbers and game theory. It is never a true 1v1 with you and your mark, because both of you have the goalies to your backs. You want to either A, get past your mark with simple strikes, so that way you can 1v1 the goalie with all of your abilities, or B, force abilities out of your mark. That way, even if they get past you, your goalie still has an ability advantage, position advantage, and everything more to help clear the way back to you or to your other forward. Man marking should not be confused with bullying. When you settle into your position on the pitch with your fellow forward, be it at the goal mouth or in a midfield position, you are identifying the most important person to shut down from where you are and adjusting accordingly, making sure that you can always have the 2v1 advantage when going against the goalie and keeping it out of reach of the entire enemy team. Take note of both enemies in this clip here, myself and the enemy. Erasmus and their Asher are both running Slick kits and want to force 1v1 situations with the goalie. As such, it's our position as midfielders to both feed passes and shut down their fellow striker. I try to use my abilities, including my ultimate, to shut down Asher, but ultimately keep her out of the game by standing in front of her, denying all passing lanes. The other Aimee does not stand in front of Erasmus, and as such, he's able to break through the defensive line, forcing 1v1s with Kazan and eventually getting the ball through, thanks to me controlling the core at the midfield and stopping Asher from ever doing the same thing. The small 3v3 format of Omega Strikers means that every single mistake made is that much more apparent and can be easily capitalized on. Man marking is a good way to identify which person is the most dangerous on the field and shut them down, creating as many opportunities for yourself while capitalizing on the mistakes of your opponent. So, let's go ahead and define those mistakes in two distinct categories: forced mistakes and unforced mistakes, alright? Forced mistakes are the byproducts of good strategy and good planning. It's when you get the core into the corner thanks to a dribble or a long pass that your fellow forward or yourself can easily set up for a lose-lose situation for the goalie, to where they are forced to make a mistake thanks to you using a Joyet Dash Punch to stun them, an Estelle Piercing Shot, any other ability combo like that, to where the opponent is already losing because no matter what they do, they are stunned, they are stuck, the core is going in the goal either way. Evade or die situations also pop up to where, thanks to a bully team or just somebody getting the stagger on the enemy, they have to burn their core flip or an evade and waste their precious energy, or risk dying instead. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation. They're losing a crucial ability or losing presence on the pitch for 12 seconds. And then finally, it's zoning ultimates that come to my mind. So things like Luna's Crater or Vice's Supernova, to where you either have to evade out of it, you have to get hit by it, losing stagger, and you get pushed away. Even if you evade, you have to move out of the radius and put yourself even further from the core potentially. All forced mistakes, which contribute to these strikers' pressure, and why you can't let them have the core in the corner as a Juliet, for instance. Stay on the edges as an Estelle, or just let Vice or Luna get specialized training. On the other hand, unforced mistakes come from no enemy strategy at all, and instead are from your own human errors. These can range from fat fingers and misclicks that waste an ability, an ultimate, or a core flip when the core was nowhere near you, to having to use abilities with no purpose in mind. That means if the enemy moved in front of you, without having to waste an ability, and now you have to use Blazing Pace, Butterfly, any other secondary to move back in position just because you didn't take note as to where your mark was. That is a 10+ second cooldown gone for you, and no cooldowns gone from them. Unforced Mistake. They did not stun you, they did not use a secondary themselves to get in front of you, they just got to move in front of you for free, and you did not respect that. And finally, the most egregious one that I see is unnecessary 2v1s. It is a good play to move up and support your fellow striker if they have a burst, if they have a hard force situation, like a dash punch potentially or so, to follow up in case the goalie tries to clear away or towards a passing lane. It is a bad play if you continue to stay there even when the core is completely out of your reach. You need to recognize when the play is over because the goalie had to use his own core flip or clear it on one of the corners, that you need to go back and obey your mark. Cut off the passing lane to the striker you just left free, so instead of you just missing the attack, you can deny the counter attack, get core control back, and try again with your fellow forward. To better understand this in a live setting, I am going to explain this clip from start to finish, showcasing exactly which mistakes were forced upon the enemies, and how we take advantage of their unforced mistakes, eventually churning out the goal barrier thanks to a combination of good teamwork and man marking. The clip starts off with good positioning of Luna at the bottom half of the pitch, but a better power chord for me to cheat past her. I am going to be highlighting constantly where everybody's sphere of influence is on the field and how much reach their abilities possibly have. This will be especially important to learn when you're man marking, as you need to understand your matchups and how much range somebody has in denying or creating passing lanes. Now my game plan shifts to cutting Luna off from any passing lanes to the core. Remember, you beat your mark by forcing them into lose-lose situations to where they must burn resources or give you the upper hand. My Thunderstruck here is meant to zone Luna away from defending the bottom half of the goal. If she wants to reach the bottom and help Atlas, she has to either take a stagger hit or waste her energy in evading the Thunderstruck. Instead, she opts to try to beat me to the center of the map for the Night Market speed boost. Unfortunately for her, I was already hugging the wall before she even began moving up there, and I reached the speed boost first. All these little interactions lead to me winning the 1v1 and cutting Luna off from the rest of her team. I can always cover for any passing angles that Atlas or Octavia might try to get to her on both the top half and the bottom half of the pitch. If Aimee loses core control and doesn't get her forced in successfully, I can try to rebound and try again with my own abilities once they're back off cooldown, or maybe even look for a different angle at the bottom half of the map should Atlas clear towards it. No matter what, I've always won this situation over Luna. Unfortunately though, me from the past squanders this opportunity completely, and lets Luna get free core control by walking in front of me. That is a blatant unforced error. You can see here, my entire game plan revolved around cutting off the entire top half of the map, but with me screwing around in the center and doing nothing, I have lost all pressure on Luna, and now she gets a free 1v1 with Estelle without even having to burn any abilities to get past me. Thankfully for us, the angle is just a little off, and Aimee's already responding by moving downwards to receive the core. She understands that she needs to play a defensive position now, and goes to mark Luna, reaching the core first and getting it out of our goal mouth. As for me, I need to get in front of Octavia, which I can successfully do thanks to the Night Market speed boost outspeeding her flow state. By keeping the core at the bottom half here with both our bodies in front of our respective marks, we always retain core control from them on the bottom half of the map. I can try to get a 1v1 with Atlas or force out some key abilities from him to make our next offensive attempt all the better. This is keeping it in our court and away from them, just due to smart positioning from Aimee and my own smart movement down on the pitch. Unfortunately, my brain thought a little too fast, and I moved too far forwards ahead of Octavia. She's able to get her strike off before mine, and it comes back to Aimee again for core control. See how I am completely cut off with my positioning here from my fellow forward. Luna and Octavia will always reach me first if Aimee tries to pass it down at the bottom of the pitch, and she is stuck in a 1v2. She is put on the defensive and needs to find a way to stall for time. So, she assesses the danger here and knows that anywhere at the bottom just leads to them retaining core control and possibly scoring on Estelle. Aimee needs to pass upwards at the very top of the pitch where nobody can reach, so we can stall for time and get me back in the midst of our offensive plan. Everybody scrambles now at the middle of Night Market, and I have to beat Octavia despite her in flow state. Landing Power Chord allows me to slow both her and Luna, and crucially, get in front of her. That way Atlas can't immediately pass upwards. He has to wait to make his decision. Octavia moves downwards in response to being marked by me, and Atlas passes to her. A great decision from the enemy team, as it's out of the danger zone that is the top right corner. My position got a lot less important, but I am still serving my role in marking Luna. So who's marking Octavia now? Aimee, in the perfect position at the middle of the field. When Octavia receives the core, I mark Luna by standing in front of her. She can't pass to that lane, so I'll just second strike her. Aimee's standing in front of Octavia, so she can't directly shoot it towards Estelle as she'll second strike her. And even if she passes towards the middle and through to the bottom half of the pitch, Aimee is way ahead and Octavia already lost her flow state. She will always receive the core first. Octavia throws by moving up for no reason, and I follow my game plan of tracking Luna. Luna gets scared away by the piercing shot from Estelle, and once again, the core goes right into Aimee's hands. This is a key example of a forced error from Aimee. Thanks to her positioning, she's able to shut down any attempt to take it to the bottom of the pitch since he will always receive it first, and a unforced error from Octavia. She now has no presence on the pitch at all. I can cover the entire top half from Luna and her, and it's an unnecessary 2v1 now. She has no flow state, she has no way to get back to the bottom half of the pitch and help out Atlas first, and Aimee has a free 1v1 at this point. Aimee doesn't have any cooldowns to follow up on the attack, but she crucially gets herself in position in front of Luna, forcing Atlas to pass upwards. Luna has no boost, has no missile, has no cooldowns to work with here, so Aimee has full control on the bottom half of the pitch. As for me, since I moved down earlier than Octavia, I got the Night Market speed boost, and I have full control of the top half of the pitch. I cut off Atlas's passing lane to Octavia completely, and now we can overwhelm Atlas 2v1. This pressure all predicates from Aimee and I just standing in front of our marks. No abilities are needed here, it's just simple chord control. I'm standing in front of Octavia, Aimee standing in front of Luna. There is no lanes to pass to, and Atlas now has to burn whatever abilities he may have left or his core flip to retain his goal barrier. My strike sends the core farther downwards than Atlas expects, and with a glitch pop, Aimee successfully gets the goal barrier after beating Atlas's strike. This is a simple movement crunch on our end. Atlas is looking to try to bounce the core off the bottom of the pits so he can get it to Luna with a funky angle. Aimee's moving down to cover her, so my job is now to cover the very middle of Night Market and the top, standing right in front of Octavia. We are cutting off all passing lanes to Atlas. He is stuck in this 2v1, and unless he stalls for time with core flip before the barrier got hit, he is essentially locked out of all options. He can't get it safely to any of his forwards, and unfortunately for him, he lost the barrier in this situation. We're able to snowball our momentum into a KO on Luna, and use the striker advantage to slowly grind the set out, thanks to smart man marking and a little power chord from me at the end. And that will cover everything I wanted to talk to you about when it came to man marking, at least from a beginner level today, from the conceptual stage to showcasing some live in-game examples. Do note that this is a strategy that will always evolve over time when it comes to the meta, which strikers are perceived as the best, and which awakenings are currently being picked, and what your overall build is, from set to set, match to match. As such, the skill ceiling to this strategy is always at the highest and will continue being pushed, so don't ever stop adjusting your own positioning, seeking out who's the biggest target on the field, and making sure that you are always proving yourself as the best striker on the pitch. There is going to be a lot more to the strategy than meets the eye when it comes to striker-specific matchups or awakenings that enable different win conditions, but I will cover that at a later School of Omega Strikers date if there's a lot of positive reception for this. Otherwise, if you're looking for more Omega Strikers content from me, you can view previous episodes in the School of Omega Strikers, or my offline Omega Strikers footage, where I am explaining my thought process live, why I made each decision, and how I could do better from goal to goal. 58 is the exact episode that I pulled all the Vice clips from today, and it's a really good starting point if you want to understand why I'm marking the people that I do, who I'm switching to at a moment's notice, and why I'm using my abilities in certain different ways. Same goes for the rest of my series. But I do hope that everybody enjoyed what I was able to teach you today, and I hope you do subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. I'm going to keep the series going on with a shorter episode probably next time though, which will be all about striking the core. Yes, I'm going to be focusing in on why you shouldn't always strike the core and patience when to strike the core, funny enough. So stay tuned for that, and as always, it's been your Wonderful Wind Mage, the Cruz Ship Captain, representing Demon Drive and the Oni Sisters today, Chartreuse Proxy ever at your service.